All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? In today's video, we are going to do a gear set review of this Archdruid Devyric mask. The monster set available with the Lost Depths DLC. This is what it looks like on the PTS. I'm not sure if it's bugged out or if we're supposed to look this way. I think it's bugged, but I don't know for sure. I really don't, but this is what it looks like. This is the major vulnerability mythic. I'll show it here in a minute. But yeah, this is when you deal a heavy attack, you get major vulnerability in a cone in front of you. So this video, we're just going to do what we do. We're going to do a gear set review. We're going to discuss it. And here it is, 1487 offensive penetration. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, after 1.2 seconds, you deal 3,000 shock damage to up to 6 enemies within a 7-meter cone on your target, applying major vulnerability to them for 7 seconds, increasing the damage the enemies take by 10%. It can happen once every 15 seconds, and it scales off your weapon or spell damage. Now, what I have on isn't a full build or anything. It's not a tooltip. It's not going to get much higher, but it kind of gives you, it's not a crazy amount of damage, but the thing is it's major vulnerability. The major vulnerability is a nice buff to get your hands on, so we're going to just test it to see if it works with medium weaves or with heavy weaves. And there's a medium weave, so any sort in this situation, just like all other sets, a heavy attack isn't a fully charged heavy, it's anything more than a pure light attack. And so sorry, I'm just testing stuff, kind of seeing how it procs, see how long it takes. And some of the things that I noticed is it does take a very long time to cast. 1.2 seconds is quite a while. You can see the bear. It's very bright. It's very apparent. And yeah, you can have up to 50% ish uptime on major vulnerability. And I did some duels live. I did some duels testing this with one of my buddies, and it's pretty easy to avoid. And so I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, because it is major vulnerability. If you land major vulnerability, that is a lot of damage. Major vulnerability is a very, very nice buff to have, but it is very similar, in my opinion, to like the Selene bear. And so it's easy to avoid. You're going to have to weave it. It's going to take some practice to kind of work on. And so typically my combination on like D-swing builds is I'll do like a light attack D-swing, and then I'll medium weave. And then I will medium weave for the stun, and then I'll go into the Dawnbreaker. And what I was doing with this test here, and you guys are going to see it, I'm just building ult right now, but I'll hit my D-swing, I'll do my light attack, D-swing, medium weave, and then I'll hit my Dawnbreaker. And you'll notice here that the bear doesn't proc until after my Dawnbreaker lands. And so if you go too fast with this combination, you will not get the proc for anything. And so you see there, it's not procking on my D-swing. I didn't get vulnerability for my D-swing. I didn't get vulnerability for my Dawnbreaker. None of that got vulnerability. And so this is just me testing different combinations, like trying to figure out how to land it. Because I mean, major vulnerability is nice, but if it doesn't land in a burst combination, what's the point, right? And so this is me just building up ultimate and everything, and testing things out. And what I kind of found is instead of light attacking first, you want to medium weave first. And so you want to medium weave to proc it, and then you want to D-swing into an off balance, in my opinion, for up close. I think this will be better for ranged like caster builds and everything, because you can line it up a little bit better. Or you just do a slight delay, and so you do the D-swing with the off balance, or slight pause. Sorry, let me say that again. You do your D-swing for your off balance, you do your medium weave, and then you just do an ever so slight pause for the Dawnbreaker. Now, I do think that this is problematic. I do think that this won't work very well, because anytime you pause in combat and you don't line up your burst perfectly well, it gives people more of a reaction time to get up, heal, whatever. And so I don't think that combination is going to work out very well. The best way that I found to line it up is to actually medium weave into a Dawnbreaker, into another medium weave, into your Dawnbreaker. So medium D-swing, medium Dawnbreaker. And I think that's how I would go about doing it. And that way you have vulnerability on everything that you land. But at the same time, like, it's really easy to avoid. It's really easy to kind of get out of the way. And so I don't think melee is like the greatest I have to wait a little bit for the Dawnbreaker, and then I get the vulnerability on the Dawnbreaker, but I'm still not getting it on the D-Swing. And so I don't think it's going to be super great for D-Swing builds, like up close and personal. I think there's just too much opportunity for it to miss. It does work at range, and I'll show that in a later video, or a later part of this video. But yeah, this is just me going through combinations, and this is how I like to try and test different gear sets. And so this is just, in my opinion, like, you want to see if it works with an entire burst combination, just like how Balorg does. You know, Balorg works with the ultimate. And so if you have an ultimate and then skills landing afterwards combination, you know it's going to land for everything. And so is this going to be just as cute? And the answer is no. The answer is just clearly no. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, when I was testing it, I kind of found that it'll probably work best on casters, and in the way that, trying to figure out the best way to say this. I'm sorry for pausing. I feel like it's easier to ensure that it lands on like a Sork, because you can medium weave, and then when you see the bear come up, you can streak through to guarantee the stun. I feel like if you really want to try and attempt to land vulnerability in a group or anything, you need things like Turn Evil, you need things like Mass Hysteria. And I didn't test all that stuff, I'm not gonna lie. This is my medium weave into a D-Swing, into a Dawnbreaker, and you see how I get vulnerability for everything there. So that was quite a bit different. That was quite a bit more damage. And yeah, that's just kind of my opinion. And if you're going to use a thing like Mass Hysteria or whatever for your burst combination, I feel like this is the type of set that would be better for a group. Like if you're fighting in a choke and you're with 2 or 3 other people, you know, you come around a corner, you medium weave, you get this bear at the door, and then then you hit your Turn Evil to CC everybody around so they eat the vulnerability, and then your buddies come in with a Dawnbreaker, like or a smash. Well, not a smash because that's also vulnerability, or like meteors or whatever, just an ult up. But that's the kind of the problem with this set is the combinations are a little clunky, and so I don't see it being super valuable in PvP. This is me proccing it on a group, so you kind of see how big the cone is, so you have an idea. It's quite a bit narrower than Dawnbreaker. It doesn't go back all the way that far. That's how far back it went when I light attacked there. So it's not a bad set. It's a narrower cone. It's pretty easy to avoid, but for a major buff, so it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Yeah, and so those are my overall thoughts on it. Is I just don't see this being super useful. Now, with that being said, like I said earlier, I didn't test every single combination, and I leave this up to you. If you guys want to try and get a major vulnerability or more major vulnerability on your combination, this will last for 7 out of 15 seconds if it lands consistently. But in my opinion, I think you have to have a very specialized setup in order to attempt to do that. And so yeah, here's me building up my ult. We're gonna do one more test here. I'm just gonna show you guys like the full combination once again, and I'll show you how big the cone for Dawnbreaker is as well, and then we'll show you how it functions at range. So yeah, I was a little unimpressed, and that's okay. That's okay with a buff this strong. So we're just buffing up our Dawnbreaker, and so we're just going to do our medium weave into our Dawnbreaker, and you can see what procs on what. And so yeah, medium weave for that, D-Swing, Dawnbreaker, and you see Dawnbreaker is probably about over twice the size of the vulnerability proc. And now we are going to back up and show you how it procs at range. So it does not proc on us. It's not on us individually. It procs on who we medium weave. And so this is another reason it might be a little clunky. Like if you're working at range on a caster, although it procs on that person and you can kind of streak and whatever, you have to make sure it's pointed in the right direction. And yeah, so there it is. There's the proc. There's a stun. Like it works at range on the person that you hit. So yeah, that's the full set. I wanted to, leave it up to you guys. I wanted to show you all the different animations. Maybe I missed something. Let me know in the comment section below, but that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.